I've been dreaming of playing on Saturdays, since, 4 years old when I first picked up a football, because, growing up watching those guys play, playing on TV on Saturdays, scoring touchdowns and the fans, giving you standing ovations and things like that.
This is Jessica Pomeroy, and you're watching Dreams of Saturday. On this episode, we'll sit down with Gerald Brazil, a 4-star recruit from LaRanger High School. We'll document the National Underclassmen Camp and show you how some players are taking the outside route to play on Saturday. And we'll visit with Tre'Davious White out of Green Oaks High School in Shreveport. Every year, over 1 million young men play high school football. They play their hearts out under the lights every Friday night. But in the back of their minds, they all dream about one day being able to play on Saturday. They dream about sold-out stadiums, screaming fans, and playing college football in one of the nation's elite conferences.
I've been dreaming about playing on Saturday since I was in diapers, if you say. I always wanted to play on TV or for a school, or even if it's not a D1 or D2 school, I just wanted to play in college.
Dreams of Saturday will show you the long and complicated road that high school athletes take to make their dreams of playing college football come true. We'll give you insider access to some of the country's most coveted recruits as they tell the tales of their college recruitment in their own words. Featuring elite-level prospects from Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, as well as some of college football stars of tomorrow from Memphis and Atlanta. We'll follow the journey these young men are on, from the first time they realize their talents, to their storied high school careers, to their intense and exhaustive recruitment, to their life-altering decision on which college to attend, and ultimately to National Signing Day, as they make their dreams of playing on Saturday come true. That gets me pretty pumped just watching that. We're going to take a short commercial break, but when we return, we'll take a look at why it's not always about X's and O's. Sometimes it's about Jimmy's and Joe's. Dreams of Saturday, we'll be right back.
I've been dreaming about playing on Saturday since I was a little kid. We used to go out at recess and we didn't have a ball. They wouldn't let us play with it, but I would pretend I was a quarterback and throw with an invisible ball. I was pretending that I was part of LSU or somewhere in the big SEC.
In college football, there's an old coaching adage that it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's. Any good coach will tell you no matter how well you scheme and game plan, you still need the talent that can step onto the field and execute. Finding the right talent has become arguably the most important part of college football. The last decade has brought a new era of college football recruiting. In this new era, dubbed the Rivals era, players are ranked by websites, scouted by coaches, and endlessly talked about on message boards. They put together highlight tapes and attend camps, hoping to draw interest from recruiters and create hype among fans. And while players are going to great lengths to get recruited, coaches are going to great lengths to earn commitments from star recruits, and fans are going to great lengths to find out information about the players their favorite team is recruiting. With so much emphasis on recruiting and so much attention given to recruits, the Rivals era has completely changed the world of college football recruiting.
The exposure nowadays, with communication and exposure, it has just made recruiting a whole different game.
It's just a lot busier. You get a lot more phone calls and text messages now, and Facebook, and the media scene is a lot more than it was 10 years ago.
With mass communication as we have, with all of the the websites now that are involved with recruiting, and there are a ton of them, and I think that's one of the things that's changed the most.
Before the Rivals era, things were a lot different.
You had to be good to get recruited.
Sometimes, unless you had a really good player, you wouldn't see a lot of people.
Now, with a slew of websites dedicated to recruiting, it's a lot easier for high school players to get their names out there, which means they can get noticed and recruited from just about anywhere.
You get contacted from schools all over the country, either a mass text message or email. Like I said, Facebook, technology has changed, so you know, it's made it different. You know, you get more access to more schools.
Even with all the technology and all the attention, one of the biggest differences in recruiting is how soon players are making their college choices, with juniors and even sophomores making commitments long before their high school careers are over, something that wasn't quite as common more than a decade ago.
When I was coming through, as a junior, you know, you was going into your senior year and you might have got some letters, but as far as commitment, there wasn't no commitments going on back then.
At first, I really wanted to focus on football. I was like, I just played for fun. Till someone said, you can play on Saturday.
Okay, enough about the Rivals era. Let's start looking at some players. And this first guy is easily one of the best guys in the state, and he's definitely the fastest.
My name is Gerald Brazil. I'm from Laranja High School. I'm 5'11", 185 pounds. I play running back, quarterback, and cornerback. And my intentions are to go to LSU and play football.
Gerald Brazil is a rising senior at Laranja High School and a 4-star cornerback recruit. Last summer, Gerald made a verbal commitment to play football for the LSU Tigers. At the time, Gerald had played just 2 years of high school football, but the LSU coaching staff was so impressed with his talent and potential that they extended an early scholarship offer to him that came even before Gerald's junior season, when he led Laranja to a 10-2 record and one of its best seasons in school history. After receiving the offer from LSU, Gerald wasted little time before reciprocating LSU's interest in him, and he soon became the first player to make a verbal commitment to the Tigers as part of their 2013 recruiting class. It's not always easy to be the first commitment in a class, but being first is an area where Gerald has a lot of experience. In addition to being a star for Laranja on the football field, Gerald is also an elite track and field athlete. He has won back-to-back state titles in both the 100 and 200 meters and is a frequent participant in high-level track events all across the country. Luckily for Gerald, the speed he showcases on the track comes with him when he steps onto the football field. With a 40 time of 4.35, Gerald has world-class speed, which is the biggest reason he's a 4-star recruit. It's also why he has scholarship offers from all over the SEC, where speed is everything.
I've always been the fastest person on the field, playing younger ball and everything. No one can never catch me. I usually run out my shoes sometimes, running so fast. Competing in high-level track events is amazing because I never knew that I can be competing with some of the top in the country, and just being out there performing my best and winning just makes me feel awesome. When I run track, I just want to give my best performance no matter what the time is. I just always want to do my best at whatever I do and just be consistent with my times.
As of right now, Gerald plans on accepting his scholarship offer from LSU, but National Signing Day is still a long ways off, and anything can happen between now and then.
I always watch college football and just think to myself, I'm faster than the guys, and just, you know, process my thoughts on the field. And whenever I see the Michael James, I'm wondering if I can run with this guy, you know, if I'm faster than him and do the things that he does on the field. Running track makes me a better football player because it shows me that I have to compete against myself and just do the best I can to, you know, beat myself before I have to beat my opponent. Just bettering myself. My expectation for when I arrive at LSU is to be a true freshman and be able to have the chance to start. In 5 years, I see myself in the NFL playing football.
Dreams of Saturday will follow Gerald all the way to signing day to see if he sticks by his verbal commitment to the Tigers or decides to play football somewhere else. Don't go far. Dreams of Saturday will be right back. The most prominent difference in recruiting during the Rivals era is the existence of recruiting websites that rate and rank potential recruits. Getting a player's name on one of these websites has become the best way to get that player the exposure they need to get recruited. There are a number of ways a player can earn their way onto a recruiting site, but one of the newer methods is to attend a camp or a combine. Because the results of the camp are often posted online as well as attended by college coaches, camps have quickly become a necessary part of the recruiting process. One of the best-known camps is the National Underclassmen Camp, which was founded by former college player turned coach Dave Schumann.
Coach Schumann pretty much started out doing speed camps. After doing speed camps, Coach Schumann played football at UConn. Just got real involved, because he's a head coach also, that he wanted to do something to help these young men to get pretty much exposure, to network them, get them out there. And since we've come through, the numbers are staggering. How many young men that we've signed D1 for D1 scholarships, NAIA, D2, the football championship series. And Coach Schumann just wanted to help back and pretty much help them in the educational aspect and the athletic.
Now, 5 years after Coach Schumann started the NUC, it has grown immensely, hosting events all summer long, all across the country.
When we first started out, we only had a small circle of states and numbers that we've done. And now we're running 7 camps in one weekend in different states. You're looking at 7 camps a weekend, anywhere from 400 kids to 120 kids at a camp.
With so many participants over the years, the NUC has helped countless players get recruited, which is exactly what they've set out to do.
The purpose of NUC is to help the young men with education and the skill level. We take the kids through a NFL combine. They do the 40, the shuttle, the vert, the broad, and we just test them out, everything, then send everything back to Coach Schumann, which he puts on a web base and networks for college recruiters to get their information.
Performing well in high school and having a good highlight film are still important, but even high school coaches acknowledge the importance of camps when it comes to getting recruited.
Some players get overhyped and some get underhyped if they're not able to go to these different camps. When a player goes to different camps, it's like being recruited right then and there.
But putting kids through a professional style workout, evaluating their skill level, and getting their name out to the masses so they can be recruited isn't all that camps do. Much like recruiting, the NUC has evolved over the years and now does even more to help recruits get to the next level.
Dave has worked real closely with the education part, as far as the schools of learning, what courses that need to be taken, the clearinghouse, the ACT, the SAT scores, and we try to educate the parents also. So at first, it was mostly, the combine and the skill level, but now it's in turn over switched mostly to the combine skill level plus the educational part.
With over 1 million high school football players nationwide and less than 3,000 Division I scholarships available each year, getting recruited can be tough for a lot of players, but that's exactly who camps like the NUC are designed to help.
Mostly finding that prospect that's under the radar. There's a lot of kids that's come to our camp that haven't been noticed. They've come to our camp, got exposure, and been highly recruited ever since.
Of course, that doesn't mean they aren't also on the lookout for bona fide blue chip prospects as well, who may start out at the NUC but earn their way into a 5-star camp.
A lot of guys that in the 5-star starts off in the regular camp. It's mostly like a privilege, an all-star event for those young men to make the 5-star.
So whether they're blue chippers with offers to schools all over the country or under the radar guys trying to make a name for themselves, during the Rivals era, every potential recruit attends some kind of football camp. And because camps are held all over the country, we have to ask, where are the most talented recruits located?
I think the kids in the Southeast, are tops because, the Southeast to me is like football heaven. You have the Floridas, the Georgias, the South Carolinas, the Louisianas, and right there close to the Southwest with the Texas. And North Carolina, if you look at our Ultimate 100, our Southeast is probably one of the best out of all the camps that we have.
Why didn't I get invited to that camp? I must need a new agent? We're gonna take one more commercial break, but when we get back, we'll kick it with one of the most underrated players in the state. You're watching Dreams of Saturday. In 2011, Tre'Davious White had 800 yards rushing, 1,710 yards passing, and 4 interceptions. Are we sure this guy's underrated? I think it's safe to say underestimating Trey White would be a big mistake. Meet Tre'Davious White, a 3-star athlete from Green Oaks High School in Shreveport, Louisiana, who has made a verbal commitment to play football for LSU as part of the class of 2013. Over the first 3 years of his high school career, Trey has earned the reputation as a shutdown cornerback on defense and a dangerous playmaker on offense when the ball is in his hands. Despite being a threat on both sides of the ball and making an early commitment to the defending SEC champion LSU Tigers, Trey remains a little under the radar as a prospect, but the people close to Trey say that doesn't bother him at all.
The main thing, he's staying humble again, and I can't use that word enough. You stay humble and you work hard. And so right now he has that in his head. Every day he comes over here, it's a blessing, but at the same time he wants to get better. So in that case, hey, work while you're out here. Don't have the big head, don't want to work. Do what you're supposed to do and get better on a daily basis.
In fact, being a 3-star athlete from Shreveport that's a little under the radar is reminiscent of someone Trey is very close to and someone that college football fans should be very familiar with. And that's former LSU standout and reigning Thorpe Award winner, Morris Claiborne. Trey and Morris have been close friends since they were kids, and although they are not biologically related to one another, Trey and Morris have always considered themselves to be godbrothers.
The godbrother thing, it really got started when I was like 8 years old. But I know his mom, but she's not my godmother. We just godbrothers. We just close. We bonded way before he blew up as a football star at Fair Park. Cause I always knew him since I was like 9 years old. So we've been bonded before he even became a big star.
These days, Morris Claiborne is a household name because of his play on the football field. And one day, Trey may become one as well. But the two actually first met and bonded while on the basketball court.
I was like 8 years old when we started hanging out. I actually played on the AAU team with him. He was like, I had to say like 14, I was like 8 or 9. So we started then, we could go on to AAU tournaments, and kids on the team used to always tell us that we look alike.
Even though Morris is a few years older than Trey, the two friends played basketball together growing up and showed off some great chemistry on the court.
I remember Morris and them had like 5 players on the team. Other players couldn't come to the tournament. So the coach of the AAU team, he put me on their team, which was the high school team at the time. I think I was in the 7th grade. So I got in the game, I did good. I threw an alley to Morris, and he dunked it in the air. The crowd went wild, so it was an exciting thing. So going with that, I always competed with him and stuff like that.
Of course, both Trey and Morris eventually moved away from the hardwood and onto the gridiron. Trey started to shift his focus from basketball to football right around the same time that Morris was blossoming into a star at LSU, which gave Trey the perfect role model to look up to.
Morris was always somebody I looked up to because he was the one that really motivated me to take football serious because both of us, we were basketball guys, but we never thought we would go this far in football. So once he started getting his name out there, and once my 9th grade year hit and I told him about my all-district honor, he told me just stick with it and just continue to work hard. There's always somebody out there working harder than you, so you continue to keep working harder so you can be the hardest worker that you can be. But he always talked to me about staying humble and continuing to work hard and never settle for less, and always give it your 100% when you're on the field.
Morris's college days at LSU may be over as he moves on to the NFL, drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. But that